Welcome everybody to the Jeffery Design Show. This is episode 2. Today we're going to be talking about everything that I can fathom at a whim about paint. We're going to be talking about some paint collections that we're working on and we've been working on for actual projects. We're going to talk about finishes, different finishes for different things and why we choose what we choose. And we have some, as I always like, some samples to kind of talk about and utilize to help us. Yes, sir. Trey has a question.
Why does paint matter so much?
Oh, paint matters so much. Paint in a space can change the entirety of the space. If you didn't do anything, paint the room. It refreshes, it can lock in odors, it can revitalize the space, it can make it feel bright and clean and airy when you've done nothing else. So paint is, I'll call it detrimental to the overall feel of the space. So even if you don't do anything, paint.
Wow.
It can instill creativity. It can instill focus. It can instill happiness depending on the colors that you put in there, or you can create a pop of color and a focal point with just paint. So paint changes everything in a space. So what I want to start with is finishes. So with the studio that we have an account with Sherwin-Williams, and with that account we get these fun little kits, and these kits come with a lot of little useless factoids, and some of those things that we get are little finish handheld samples, and we use these during projects to show clients what the sheen is, how it's going to finish on the wall, and then what that actually does as a sheen to the color. So you can choose a multitude of different sheens. There's a lot of sheets here, but it's going to change the color slightly depending on the sheen. So it's not just what you pair the color with in the space, it is actually going to depend on the sheen. So I have out my 2 favorites. And these colors are the truest white and the truest black that Sherwin-Williams offers. And so you've got pure white and you have tricorn black. And I am holding satin, also known as eggshell. And I'm holding matte, also known as matte.
Is it possible to pair 2 different sheens together and it still look good? Is
it possible to pair 2 different sheens together and still look good? Absolutely. Now, what I will say, there's a caveat to that. I'll break your room into segments. You've got your ceiling, you have your walls, you have your trims and your doors, right? So your ceiling, you always want to go with a flat or a matte. Always flat or matte on your ceilings. You don't want to showcase extra texture, extra shadows, or extra ripples, or the fact that your ceiling to floor might not be perfectly square. If you put something with a sheen on it, you're going to notice that. So what we always like to do is go matte or flat. Now matte is more washable than flat. So we typically select matte for all of our ceilings. Flat, if you get a fingerprint, or if you are, let's say, doing your homemade spaghetti sauce and you forget to put a lid on your blender, because I would do that, and it splatters all over the ceiling, you have to repaint your flat ceiling. So matte is washable to an extent. You can go with satin on your ceiling. That's the highest sheen that I would do if you're concerned about remembering to put the lid on the blender. Walls, I love matte looking walls. It has just the slightest sheen to it, but if you get fingerprints, you can come behind it maybe with a warm cloth, like a microfiber cloth, and you can actually wipe those fingerprints off. If you go with flat, you're not going to be able to do that. You have to paint the whole wall. You can't even touch it up. If you go with a high sheen, you're going to have the same problem. You can go eggshell, you can go satin on your walls, so you still have a little bit of a sheen, but it's still easier to wash even than matte. And you won't have to repaint the whole wall if you touch it up, to an extent. There's caveats that I won't get into quite yet. And Trey has another question.
Would a matte paint color or a matte sheen be good in a bathroom?
Bathrooms are specific. Now they're high humidity areas. Even with the newer fans that are out there, you're still gathering humidity in a small space. So I would never again do flat in a bathroom because Sherwin-Williams matte is washable to an extent. I would do matte in a bathroom. I would also do satin in a bathroom. You can do semi-gloss if you're overly concerned. But still it's not exciting to look at. And if there's any imperfections, if you didn't do all new sheetrock or all new texture, those shadows that you're getting from the sheen to like less sheen and less brightness from the lighting, you're gonna really see that. So you want to be really careful with that. I'm gonna just be honest, if you went cheap on your texture and you just kind of patched as you went with your remodel and you didn't do all new texture, or at least fade it in and smooth it out, or if unfortunately it was a bad texture job, or we did a DIY and maybe it was our first time using a hopper, I would not select a higher sheen. So you can go, let's say, so I'm gonna show you the difference here really quick between matte and flat. So, and I don't know if it's going to show up well on the camera, and you can go into any paint store and look at the differences, but I have matte and I have flat. And with the truest white and the truest black that they offer, there is a difference in tone on the black. I can see it in person. I'm not sure if you can on camera. So you want to look at the finish, and based on that finish, that's how you want to select your color. Now, not all paint companies offer your paint color in the exact finish. So you want to talk to them about what they do offer, and just know that when you select a different finish for your painter to paint the wall, it might be slightly different. So you're just going to have to be okay with that. Now let's go with a high gloss. Now high gloss is something that I've seen come back in style. And I actually heard this morning at one of my marketing groups that a cabinet company refused to finish the cabinets because the clients requested a high gloss. So they had to have a specialty high-end painter come in and spray all the cabinets in a high gloss paint. Now high gloss is touchy to work with because if you get a fingerprint on it, you're gonna see it. So if you have sweaty hands, if you have grease on your hands, you're gonna see it. So you kind of want to go middle of the road with sheen, otherwise it's going to become a problem.
So if you have kids, you probably shouldn't get high gloss.
Don't do high gloss if you have kids, unless it's like something really cool and you've done it on the ceiling. There's this Paints of Europe. I think I follow them on social media, and they only do uber high-end, like high gloss mirror finish paint projects, doors, ceilings, walls, millwork. It looks really cool. They call it a mirror finish because you can get your reflection out of it. That's how high gloss it is. And it takes a specialty painter to be able to do this and have it turn out right. Because if you roll it, you're gonna see the roll strokes. If you brush it, you're gonna see the brush strokes. So here is high gloss versus a matte. Let me hold these up together. So you can see the higher the gloss, the more vibrant the black is, and the less sheen, the more dull that black is going to get. So you can kind of see the difference. Hopefully on camera you can see it, because that's a pretty stark contrast. So that's kind of the high level overview of paint finishes. You always want to be cautious. Now, one of the things that you can do while you're selecting your paint, these are not going to be in order. Sorry, ladies. Well, this is mine, so I'm screwing myself. One of the things that you can do is a lot of the companies now have the peel and stick samples, and I have a couple of here, not in my chosen colors, but this is what Sherwin-Williams had. And it has this corner, and you can peel it off, and you can stick it on your wall, and you can just sleep with it. What we usually recommend, whether you have these or whether you're painting little swatches, on different little sample quarts is do it in different sections of the room. Like in this room, I have a multitude of windows, recessed lights, chandelier, and doorways. So what I would do is I would paint it on what's a shadowed wall now and a wall that has no shadows on it. And then I'm gonna let it dry, and I'm gonna do a second coat. And then I'm gonna let that dry. And then over the course of the next day or two, I'm just gonna walk around and take a look at those paints at different times of the day as the sun is moving, with my lights on and with my lights off. And I'm gonna stand there with my cup of coffee or my drink or my tea or whatever it is and just stare at it. Now, don't overanalyze the paint, because it's easy to overanalyze because you're hyper focusing on this one thing in the space. But what I'm looking for is how the paint changes color and hue during the different times of the day, and with the lights on and off, and with the sun going on different parts of the room. That changes color. You could have a gray that turns taupe. You could have an off-white that turns gray. And so I'm looking for, does it work all-encompassing, or is there a point in the day where I really hate that paint? And that's a strong word, I know, but colors and paint can instill very strong feelings. So if you are good with it at all times, then you can give it to your painter and you can say, I'm ready to paint. If you don't like it, keep going. Some painters will tell you don't ever paint a sample swatch on the wall because you're causing me problems to cover it later. It is what it is. Do what you need to do to make sure that you love the paint, because it really isn't cheap to paint anymore, and it takes so much time to prep, move all your stuff out or into the middle of the room. It takes a lot of time. So really make sure that you like the paint that you're painting on your walls. So I'll also say this as I get up and gather to go get some samples. Now, a lot of people ask me now if I like color washing, and you might not know what color washing is. Color washing or drenching is where the walls, the trim, the ceiling, everything is the same color. And that's what we've done in here. It's dirty, don't look at it. It's a working studio. But I have Drift of Mist, my favorite color. Drift of Mist in matte, Drift of Mist in matte, Drift of Mist in matte on the base, and Drift of Mist in matte on the ceilings. I'm okay with that. And you can see what happens. We usually get deliveries, we get boxes that stack here, and so they rub on the wall. You can see with my hands, I don't see fingerprints. I don't see weird little greasy marks. It is semi-washable. So that's why I like it. Now, this was me, because somehow I splattered paint for my Color Atelier DIY project that I did all the way over here, and that's just a little reminder. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get some paints, and I'm gonna show you what we're working on. So I'm gonna gather some stuff. Oh, and this one's fun. I'm gonna bring this one over. So my little pet project, this is a company out of San Francisco. It's a lime wash paint. They also do plaster. And so you get it mixed with different colors, and you can also custom mix it to match a Sherwin-Williams color, which is really cool. So, and we have a project that we're working on now that we've done that, and the hood is, we did it on a hood. The hood is done, and it looks phenomenal. So the color came out great. All right, so I'm gonna talk through just some color combinations that we've done and why we chose them. So this is a project that we have completed, and we didn't do a color wash on this project. So we did trim and baseboards, and then we did one wall on or a door in this color, and this is Greek Villa by Sherwin-Williams. And then we did Gossamer Veil on the walls. So you can see that stark contrast. And that's one of the things that we talk about when we're selecting paints is for a client, we talk to them about the contrast that they want to see. Do they want to see a stark contrast, or are they okay to have less of a contrast between their trim, ceilings, and their walls? And then what we did is we wanted some depth. So we took this lime wash paint, and this is soft taupe, and you can go onto Color Atelier's website, and they have images of the finishes. Now, it's an online image. It is different than the physical sample. Do not select the color off of the online image. It will not be what you expect when you get it. So then we took just the accent wall and we did, I think we did 3 layers of this paint. Now, you take a masonry brush and you do this very differently than you do regular paint. And we did 3 coats because it gave us the depth that we were looking for, and the intent is for it to look like a lime wash, right? You want that depth that you're looking for when you go to Europe and you travel and there's these buildings that have, you know, plaster done from the 1800s. That's the look that you're going for with this. They say you could do 2 coats, but I like the depth out of 3. And we did this with an oak flooring. So you're really getting that warmth and you're pulling it in. So we went with taupe tones on that one. This one, we have wall paint, and this is Symmetry. It's their emerald line with Sherwin-Williams. And then we have the ceilings, the doors, and the trim in pearly white. Now we're doing this with an LVP flooring, and this is throughout the house. This is all the rooms, including the bathrooms where we have bright tile or we have like a muted green tile. Trey has a question.
For pearly white, is there,
Yes.
what kind of finish should I get on it? Because if I have kids, or if they're, I might be worried to like get the paint dirty, and you know, if you get something on white paint, it doesn't look great. So what finish should I get on that white paint?
Trey's asking what finish to get on the pearly white color in case you have kids and you don't want it to look dirty. Now this is an off-white color. It's not a bright white and it's not like a taupey white. It's an off-white. So you need to be careful with the finish that you put on this. I would say I would be safe with a matte in this color. And I believe that's what we're doing. Because this, or actually you could go satin, because this is doors and trim and all your casings. And if it's your casings, you're gonna want satin in this color. And in this color, with my Symmetry, you can go matte because of the tone. This is gonna show a lot of imperfections if you go with a glossier. The higher the gloss, the more imperfections you're gonna see. Okay, so we have a lot of lighter wood tones in this house. So we wanted something a little warmer on the wall than our usual go-to, which is Drift of Mist, for some contrast. And again, some really bright colors, some really fun things happening in this project. All right. Now this one is cabinet paint. Now, cabinet paint, you can have a lot of fun with. But it really, you just have to ask yourself what kind of feeling you want, what kind of mood you want when you walk into your space. Do you want moody? Do you want bright and airy? Do you want fun and whimsical? You should really ask yourself that question before you start selecting your cabinet paint. So with this one, we have all of our upper cabinets and our what we call full heights. So that's from floor to ceiling. Maybe you have your refrigerator panels, maybe you have your pantry, maybe you have an appliance garage, that kind of thing. So this is origami white, again, one of our favorites from Sherwin-Williams. And ask your cabinet company while you're finishing your paint what sheens they work in and what their standard is. A lot of them is like a level 12. We go with a level 10, which is actually a little less sheen. It doesn't cause any issues in cleaning or durability or fingerprints. It cleans the same way as a higher sheen on cabinetry. It just is a little bit duller to look at, so you still get that color that you're looking for, but it's a little bit more updated, I think. And it doesn't have that shininess when you look at new cabinets and you get that like shine. It has less, so it actually looks a little cleaner. And then all the lowers, we did useful gray. And so you can see this client wanted something a little taupey, so useful gray can sometimes get a little warm and a little taupey undertone. And we wanted that contrast that was seen between the uppers and the lowers. So that's why we chose these. Okay. This color combination is really fun. So this is going in a kitchen. And we have, oh, that was for this guy, but that's okay. I'm gonna go with this one. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, so we have Island cabinet is network gray. Again, these are all Sherwin-Williams because I love their colors. This is wall paint, and this is upper cabinets. So what you're gonna get out of this is you're gonna get that contrast, but you're gonna get that two-tone. And they didn't want something that was off-white. They were going for a little bit of like an oceany feel, a beach feel. And we have a really fun combo of tile happening for this backsplash. So this is upper cabinets, again, origami white, and this is network gray for the island.
Network gray?
Network gray, and it's actually the perimeter lower cabinets as well. So another two-tone. Island and lower cabinets are network gray, and then the upper is origami white. Now, these two work together because although you saw previously I put origami white with something that's warm, origami white can also go with cool tones, which network gray is a cool blue gray. So some of the whites you'll notice, some off-whites are gonna have some peaky undertones, some yellow undertones, some gray undertones, or some taupe undertones. So when you're selecting your white, you always wanna look at the other contrasting color that you're putting with it to make sure those undertones work together. Now, this is going on the wall, and you can see, oh boy, I put a warm wall color with some cool tones. That's totally okay. I have warm flooring going in. So my warm flooring is bringing the wall tone in, and my backsplash has a mix of both. So that's tying the whole space together. So paint, I get asked all the time on social media or when I'm talking to new potential clients, when is the best time to select paint? Paint is always gonna be the last thing you select. Don't ever select it first. Don't select it in the middle. Don't get ahead of yourself and say, I'm freaking out, I need to pick my paint color. It's okay. Paint is always last because it's harder to find a tile, a countertop, a door style, a window finish, you know, for your frame, if you're doing a new window, it's harder to find those tones because you're locked into certain things than you are paint. There's so many different paint companies out there. There's Dunn Edwards, there's Sherwin-Williams, there's all sorts of other ones. Benjamin Moore, they have countless paints. So paint color should be last because it helps tie all the other finishes together and it really drives the project home. So paint last, and while you're selecting your paint, look at everything else as a whole so that you can really see how it pairs and how it ties. And take your time, don't rush. The day your painter's coming is not the day to pick your paint. Give them your paint ahead of time and take your time. Okay, now if anyone on live has questions, I wanted to open it up to questions so I can give some answers.
What about Sherbert?
Oh, okay. Trey reminded me of a project that we're working on. This one's fun. Okay, so I don't know if you've heard me talk about the Sherbert bathroom before, but this one's fun. So we have a multitude, oh, I'll grab one more. Welcome to my brain. We have a multitude of colors going in this project, and this project has been just a blast to work with. Our client is super fun and energetic. She loves life, and I love life too. So I said, you know what? I almost threw up when I saw the 3D, but I'm okay with that. So, and she laughed at me, it's fine. We have good relationships with our clients. Okay, so this is going in a bathroom. And I wonder if anyone can guess where this paint is going in the bathroom. Trim? Cabinet?
On the wall?
On the wall. This is on all the walls in the bathroom. And so I have nicknamed this bathroom the Sherbert bathroom.
All the walls?
I can tell you when you open the door and the light is on, the hallway is going to emanate this color. I've seen it happen before. So this is outgoing orange for our outgoing selves in the Sherbert bathroom. Now I'm pairing that don't get scared. It'll all make sense as you follow us on social media and you see the progress of this project. Don't freak out. Blue Peacock is being paired with Outgoing Orange. And Blue Peacock is all of our interior doors and all of our interior trim. I know, shocking. But it's so fun, right? Like it's just this like crazy pop. Now, let me give you a little background. So she loves art and she has all types of different art that is always on her wall. So her walls are going to be a very light white color, almost like you're going into an art museum, right? So, or an art show. So we wanted something that contrasted those walls and created art in her space as an architectural detail. So we chose, with her help, Blue Peacock as all of our interior doors on both sides, no matter the room, and all of our interior door casings, window trim, and baseboards. I'm loving it. It's gonna be great. And she has a really cool color going on her kitchen hood, which is also a green. So I'm really excited about this project.
Is this the most unique color pattern that I've ever done in a house?
This is the most unique color pattern I've ever done in a house. We have different colors in every room and it's kind of like a splattering of fun. So it's life in a house. Now, I always tell my clients, it's not my house, it's theirs. Right? So this is one of those opportunities where I pulled myself back because it's not my house. And I let the client...
Question.
Yes.
What's going to be the finish of both those colors?
Oh, great question. So because of this color, we're actually going with a little bit of a higher sheen. So we're going to go satin on all the doors and the trim because this is not a color you want dull. This is a color that you really want to showcase. So this is going to be a satin, so you're going to see a little bit of a sheen. This is going to be a matte, so still slightly washable. It's going in the hall bath, so it's a guest bathroom. And I don't want this in a higher sheen because it will blind you when you walk down the hallway and it will be like the sun is fully in that bathroom. So matte to help dull it and bring it down to assist the other colors in the space. And let the tile showcase rather than the color. I know that's hard to believe, but it's okay. Trust the process. And again, before Trey so rudely interrupted me, like I tell all of my clients, is this is their home, it's not mine. So I'm going to let you kind of feed the design and we're going to educate you and help you pull it all together because your personality should be in the space. It shouldn't be my personality. Okay.
That would be a crazy space.
If my head was in a room, it would be crazy. Okay, just like any room I walk into is like blown up with my craziness. Okay, now this color doesn't actually, the name doesn't reflect the color that you see. I like to call it mushroom, but the actual name is chat room. I don't see it. I see mushroom. And so this paint color is going in the same house. So these two not work together, but they're in completely different spaces. So you're not going to see them together. So that's okay. So this color is going in it's potentially a green bathroom. It's green tile, it's green flooring, green tub.
What kind of green?
Like a forest green. So I don't have the green.
You don't have anything in your paint then?
Nope. So this is going on all the walls with forest green tile. No, Trey, I don't.
Is it that unique?
No, I just don't want to spend everybody's time looking for it. Okay, so this one, Trey likes to interrupt me sometimes and he thinks it's okay, but it's not. Okay, so, all right. So this project is really fun. So we have 3 colors, and again, 2 of them are our favorites. I have Snowbound, I have Drift of Mist, and I have Acacia Haze. Acacia Haze is this kind of really cool kind of green tone. It's a little lighter green. So this is an island. It's a barn door. Walls is snowbound. Cabinets are drifted mist. And Trey had another question.
This is from Yo Meme.
Okay.
Yo Meme,
from Yo Meme. Okay.
From Instagram.
From Instagram, we have a question.
I'm pretty sure they were talking about the last set of paint colors.
Okay.
It says, what kind of undertones does it look? Something like that. Like what? Are
like what kind of undertones do I see for the fun colors?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. For all three of them?
Sure.
Sure, why not? Okay. Undertone in this one, that's why I call it mushroom. It's like a muted muddy green undertone, if I could use technical terms. And that's the primary bath wall color that's going with the forest green tile. Now, this one's cool. The undertone, I would say, on this one is actually like a teal-y undertone because you're getting that vibrant, kind of greenish teal color, but it leans heavier on the green side. So that's what I would say is the undertone on this for Trey. If you can see that. And this is the outgoing orange. I would say the undertone of outgoing orange is like orange. There is not one other color in this. I'm not gonna lie, as Trey is holding that up, I like that orange is just vibrating through the back side of that sample.
Really?
It is,
It
yeah.
is.
With the lights in here, it just really showcases. Is my face orange? Because like,
Yeah, it is
see,
really orange.
That's what the hallway is gonna do.
It's gonna turn everything orange.
So I have a funny story for you. And I think it was like a Pepto color or something like that. So we had clients, and if they're watching, they probably know who they are. And I was just helping select materials, right? They had everything already done, and they brought me in to help with materials. And we were working on a paint color for their grandkids' kind of hangout space in their house. And they chose what they thought would be like a really great peachy color. And that peach ended up being like bright, like Pepto peach. And so when I walked down the hallway, because they wanted to show me how amazing this color was, which they were laughing too, the entire hallway was like walking to heaven's gates of peach. And it was just emanating out of the hallway. That's what bright colors do. It's okay. It's okay. Trey has a very important question because his hand is really high.
Are those colors from Sherwin-Williams?
They sure are. Okay. So chat room is Sherwin-Williams 6171. Blue Peacock, Sherwin-Williams 0064. Outgoing orange is Sherwin-Williams 6641. If you put these colors in your house, can you please message me or like tag us on Instagram, because that would be really fun. I would love to see what anybody else does with those colors because they're very unique. Okay, so this project we're about to wrap up, and we have Acacia Haze, which is, it's actually green if you can't tell. But it's like a gray green. The undertone on this one is gray. Again, Sherwin-Williams 9132. And so we did this on the island because we wanted that pop of green. They will be doing eventually a barn door to their pantry. So this is also gonna be that color on the barn door. And again, we did like a grade 10 sheen on the island, so a little less on that sheen. On the walls, we went a little bright white, which is snowbound, again, Sherwin-Williams. And now painted, it looks like a bright white until you get it next to the cabinets or anything off-white, and then you start to see that off-white tone in the walls. So we went matte also on these.
Do you like putting white on walls?
I love putting white on walls because I don't want the walls to take the cake. I want everything else in the space to be showcased. So like I did white in here because I wanted to be able to see true colors with our clients. And that's what Drifted Mist did for us here with the lighting and the windows that we have in the natural light. And then it gave me the opportunity to go with this color Atelier, like this charcoal color, because it's not bright white, so it's not going to be this like crazy contrast. It's a little bit softer in contrast. And when my eye gravitates toward the space is telling me my eye can continue, and it doesn't stop at the hard lines where I cut from the fireplace to the wall. Trey has another question.
If I put white in my house and I have white walls, but I want to do boom, 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 accent wall, what is a great color to do for an accent wall with white walls in my house?
I've never been to your house.
I'm not in my house.
Okay, generally speaking. Trey is asking if I have white walls and I want, in Trey's way, boom, 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 accent walls, what accent color should I be doing? Gosh, you know, you could do anything if you have white.
What is
literally
your personal
anything.
favorite?
I think you see it. My personal favorite is this one.
Yomeme says whites with undertone of beige or cream that she really likes.
Oh, yes. So whites with undertone of beige, like with undertones of beige and cream, gives you so many areas to like work with, right? And warm tones have really come back. Those cooler tones have kind of stepped back to the warm tones that are coming back into spaces. And if you have a white with either of those undertones, cream or beige, you can put yellows, oranges, blues, grays, browns, reds, anything of that like with those undertone colors, and it flows, it works. You could do blush with it. You could do gray. Like in here, I have original oak flooring, which is kind of red, yellow, honey toned. And then I have some light ash gray armchairs. I have a charcoal, cool gray sofa. And then I have a warm rug. So you can do those things and really kind of mix and match. Just like you hear people saying mix metals, you can do that with tones too. You just have to make sure that they complement each other in undertone, and then they're gonna flow. Okay, I'm never gonna get through this one. Yes?
We got 5 more minutes. Should we get into Q&A?
Oh yeah, I think let's get into Q&A.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just ask them if they have any questions.
Let me know if you have any questions. We have about 5 minutes left today, and I'd love to answer as many as I can. So shoot.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you some from here while everyone's writing up their questions on the live.
All right.
There's gonna be some specific ones, okay?
Okay,
And
Trey has some specific questions while you all type your questions.
We're gonna do 30-second answers since we have limited time.
Oh, you're gonna have to time me. Okay, let's go.
Okay. Painting our stairwell to the main floor has had a darkening effect. What are some ways to brighten up the living room again? Will white paintings help?
White paintings?
White paint? White paint?
Absolutely. If you go with a lighter paint, it's going to brighten the space. If you go with a darker paint, it's going to darken the space because dark paint tends to absorb light. Lighter paints tend to bounce it off. You could also do this with sheen. If you go satin, you could bounce the light off of that, and then I would probably put some lighter, brighter artwork over that darker paint.
Do you have a preference line of paint from Sherwin-Williams?
That's a tough one because I just put it away. This is not 30 seconds. That's a tough one because certain painters, if you talk to them, they're only going to spec the higher quality paints like emerald. Those are great. They have good coverage, but it also really depends on what you're doing. If you're painting cabinets or trim, you probably want one of their paints that are specific to that type of product that you're painting. We actually typically just go like with the super paint. Okay, I'm good. Super paint is good. I'm being timed.
What are the best paint colors for a room with a dark gray sofa?
Ooh, dark gray sofa. I have that. I would say you probably want to go with something that has like a dark gray sofa. Is it a cool gray or is it a warm gray? Because that matters.
Let's go. Can you give a quick answer to both?
Yeah, if you have a cool gray sofa, dark gray, you're gonna want a color that has a cooler undertone to it. If you have a warm dark gray sofa, you're gonna want a color that has a warm undertone to it.
Gotcha.
the color itself, white, blue, green, is really going to depend on the other tones and colors that you have in the space.
Okay, next one. This is from Duanimo.
Duanimo.
Is white walls with a darker trim a fad or something that will last? Example, alabaster wall / natural linen trim.
Ooh, that is very classy. Go for it. It's going to stay in style. What I say about style is go with what you like to look at the longest. If you're going to get tired of it in a year, it's going out of style for you specifically. I don't care what everybody else is doing. I want to create my own style and I want myself in the space. If it's classic tones paired together, generally that is going to last longer as far as style goes. If you're choosing really kitschy colors, then it's going to go out of style faster. But those two colors, hands down, I would do them in my own house.
Give me an example.
It's a good combo.
Color.
Sherbert.
Okay, there we go.
Is a kitschy color. All
right, this is a good one. Why do some Japanese homes have wallpaper instead of painted walls?
So some Japanese homes have wallpaper instead of painted walls because some of it is also just cleansing of the space. So most of those wallpapers are natural wallpapers like grass cloth, and they're actually good for your health. So they can clean the space. They can also act as natural sound absorption in the space, and it's feng shui, really, right? If you have natural products, if you have natural things in your home that are more of that LEED quality, they're more organic, and they're grown sustainably, then it actually improves the health of the person living in the home. That's why you would see a lot of like natural grass cloth in those homes and those types of materials.
What are the benefits of using texture paint in interior design?
Oh, clearly, it's amazing. It adds depth. Adding texture paint in interior design is going to add depth and interest to the space. If you want a focal wall, but you don't maybe have the budget to do wallpaper or to do lined fabric or crazy like bold art, textured paint is actually a really great cost-effective method. And clearly, I love it.
Okay, this is the last one.
Last question, guys.
Off the cuff. Okay?
Off the cuff from Trey.
I'm an artist. Can I sell my paintings to interior designers?
If I'm an artist, can I sell my paintings to interior designers? Yes, I get emailed phone calls all the time from local artists looking to kind of make their way in the world and sell their pieces. What I will say is as interior designers, we have a lot coming at us. I would focus as an artist on what my style is, what my clientele is, and what my market is. And I would focus on designers specifically geared toward that kind of client to sell. You're gonna have a much better or higher return rate on your efforts. Thank you everyone so much for joining us. Have a great weekend, everybody.